As a sketch of the graph y equals f of x, the graph passes through the points minus 4, 0, minus 6, 0, and the maximum point is at 1, 3. We want to sketch the following graphs using a separate set of axes for each graph. In each case, you should indicate the coordinates of the stationary point and the coordinates of the points of intersection of the graph with the x-axis. Okay, so let's have a look then. Here's our graph. We want to do a to f of x. Now 2f of x is a transformation on the y coordinates because it's outside of the brackets, and this is going to be a stretch. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying the y coordinates by 2. So if we've got minus 4, 0, we've got 1, 3, and we've got 6, 0. These three coordinates, multiplying the y coordinate by 2, so this is going to be 2y, we're going to get minus 4, 0, so where it cuts the x-axis remains the same. The maximum is going to stay in the same x-coordinate, but we're going to double that y-coordinate to 6, and then 6, 0 remains the same. So part A, I get a very similar graph. Here's my quadratic. I find it's easier to sketch the graph first of all. I know it's going to cut the x-axis in 2 places, so I can then draw in an x-axis. One is minus 4, 0. The other is 6, 0. That means the y-axis is going to be somewhere there. The maximum is roughly in the same place as before, and so we're going to get 1, 6. Okay, so how do we get the marks here? Well, the first B1 mark is if you've got a quadratic that is upturned, so this kind of sad face shape, and you've got the maximum at 1 some coordinate there, you get B1. You then get the other B1 if you've actually got that the y coordinate is 6. And finally, you get B1 if you've got both the coordinates for the intersection correct. Okay, let's look at part B. Part B is f of minus x. So this is a transformation on the x values. And so this, because it's negative, is going to be a reflection. It's going to flip all the negative x values to positives and positives to negatives. So this is going to be a reflection in the y-axis. Okay, so we're going to be looking to reflect in this y-axis here. Now, in terms of our coordinates, if we look at our coordinates, so I've got minus 4, 0, I've got 1, 3, and I've got 6, 0. What we're doing here is we're saying minus x, so minus 4, 0 switches to positive 4, 0. 1, 3 switches to minus 1, 3. And 6, 0 switches to minus 6, 0. So we still have this upside down quadratic. Still cuts in 2 places. This time, the first place it cuts on the left hand side is going to be minus 6, 0. The other place is going to be 4, 0. The maximum here is now minus 1, 3. And that means that the y-axis is to the right of the maximum. How do we get our marks? Well, again, we get our marks if we've got this concave curve down. And as long as you've got that the maximum point is 3 and some value for x, that's B1. Then you get the second B1 if you've actually got the minus 1 correct here. Finally, the final B1 is given if you have both of these points of intersection on the x-axis correct. Hope that all made sense and that you understood that.